Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards.
Welcome to another episode of Chattin With Chelsea. I'm your Daytime Bestie, Chelsea Edwards. If you have ever gone from, I'm just going to check this one email really quickly, to looking at your workload and ending up at, how am I ever going to be good at anything in life? Whew. Well, this episode is for you and for me too, apparently, because the mind will just keep on going. So we have an author here with 3 simple tips to get you to stop spiraling fast. All right, some great stuff here. We also have a leadership expert who is going to teach us how to take back our time and protect our peace. All right, I'll be honest, I keep it real with you guys. I will start spiraling in my mind usually about how many things I'm trying to keep or get done in the day, even if those things are supposed to be enjoyable. Hello, Chris and Charlie really got me with this one. She says, this is me spending time with my kids and thinking about my unfinished work. Then there's, this is me working and thinking about how messy the house is. This is me tidying the house and thinking that I should be a better wife. This is me making a pie for my husband and thinking I need more time for myself. This is me spending time by myself and thinking I should be a better mom. It feels like there's no winning, honestly, but that is really how our minds can often go. So welcome, Diana Pagano, the author of The More Mindset. You're going to teach us how to get out of these spirals that we often have.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, because we really need this. Why did you want to create this book? Was it off of your personal experience with spiraling?
Yes, absolutely. So I grew up in a very unstable environment. It was a family of 6, grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment, first generation Mexican American, and my parents were struggling entrepreneurs. And so I only know what I grew up with is that life had to be hard. And I started to notice the patterns in my late 20s, later became a single mom, pursued real estate, and I was doing it all wrong. And I said to myself, what is going on? There has to be something better than just living life in pure survival mode. And so I enthralled myself in, God's grace and scriptures and books about the mind, and I became so obsessed about this. And I said, wow, who else is struggling out there like myself? And it was didn't happen overnight, but I was in that self-discovery. And I think that that's what drives me, is when I think about my mom or my dad, and I say, it's not the action, because they were taking the action, but it's not about that. It's about the belief that that really supports that. And so that's what drove me, is to help others really break those limitations that exist, but you don't have to. They don't have to all exist. Life happens, but there's tools and strategies and ways that you can go ahead and have more, whether it's more peace, more purpose, more abundance of any kind. It doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah, you definitely were not alone. What does a spiral look like for you or for other people who may not even realize that they're spiraling? I gave my example, but there are so many different ways we can spiral in our minds.
Absolutely. The majority of our thoughts, are unconscious. I think it's understanding, and that's one of the things I talk about, really foundational, to understand how our brains work. Every single person, the biggest success, anyone successful in lives that people have seen, we're all having these thought patterns. And we're so wired, Chelsea, to think and look at what can go wrong. Oof. And I think that that's the biggest kicker. When you understand that, hey, these thoughts are going to come, you're not going to avoid thoughts that come your mind, like, what if I don't do it the right way? What if I'm not ready yet? What if I didn't do it last year, so this year I'm not going to succeed? It's all the stories you tell yourself in your mind. And you have the power more than you think. And that's what I learned, even with my own self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, that life had to be hard. And so you don't often get what you want. But let me tell you, Chelsea, you always get what you believe. And so it goes to the root of belief that will dictate the action or the lack of action that you don't take.
Wow. Okay, so we got to dig deep to correct this. Okay, all right. Well, I'm just about ready. Explain this to me. You say there are 2 different types of spirals. What are those?
Absolutely. So it's the inner dialogue, the stories that you keep telling yourself, because that's the belief. And oftentimes we get it inherited beliefs. My mom taught me, with God all things are possible. In the same breath, she believed wholeheartedly that money was the root of all evil. And sometimes we carry these fundamental beliefs that sometimes we don't even know where they come from, but that impacts how we show up. So it's inherited beliefs, whether you were a kid, maybe in college, and we continue to cultivate beliefs based on what we're told, based on whatever, it's in your environment. And I would say that the second thing is just what results you've actually seen. So if you have had actual results, that's your proof. It's a vicious cycle because you take the action based on what you believe. So you take the action, but how much action are you really going to take when you believe that you're not good enough or that you're not ready yet? You're going to take some action, but the level of intention that you bring to the table for your actions isn't going to be at your best. Wow. And so then you see results that follow, and then that alone continues to build your belief, because then you're like, see, the action I took gave me this result, that means it didn't work. And now it just limits you even more.
You just keep going in that spiral. That's why we call it a spiral. My goodness. Okay, well, we got to get some tips on how to get out of this. We're going to take a quick commercial break, guys. Get your pens ready, and we'll be right back after this. Is spiraling stopping you from becoming the best version of yourself? Well, we're going to figure out how to stop that spiraling. Diana Pagano, you've written this book, The More Mindset. You've got strategies in there on how we can stop this, because this mindset, that'll keep you from doing what you really want to be doing, and it'll just keep reinforcing itself if you're not achieving results you want. Okay, 100%. So what is your first tip on how to stop spiraling?
So the first thing I would say is that when a thought's coming your way, when you're feeling a certain way, it's more so, is this a fact? Or is this an assumption I'm making or a belief that I have? So that's the first thing, because you notice, and I think it's just, it's either two things. It's either serving you, it's either moving you forward, or it's holding you back. So if the thought is, well, what if I didn't do it right? What if they laugh at me? What if I don't have enough money? What if I don't get the business loan? You know the answer to that. Does that move you forward? But it's true, I haven't gotten the business loan. Yeah. Forget about what reality is today. In order for you to break that and shift that, is you have to challenge it and ask yourself, is this a fact or is this an assumption I'm making based on a previous belief?
Okay, so just like in the video we watched earlier, like she's doing one thing, but she's thinking about like, oh, how I could be so much better at this. And oftentimes, it looks like, or it sounds in our heads like, oh, I'm not doing enough and I will never get to this point in life.
100%. And that's why the action, people are just, it's like a hamster in a wheel. But I'm taking action, I'm doing the thing. But if you're doing the thing and thinking differently, there's a block. So oftentimes it's not that the action isn't working, it's that you are omitting this level of energy. And there's quantum physics, it's a fact, right? This isn't woo-woo, it's a reality backed by science and how it affects your brains from a neuroplasticity perspective. And that affects the action and how we do the action that we do. Okay, so for the people out there who say, okay, well, affirmations and things like that, they don't do anything. You're saying like there's science that says that this can have an effect on your outcome. Has an effect. Thoughts, beliefs, the language have consequences. Because when you think about it, if you're saying, today is going to be an amazing day. Today I'm going to be better than yesterday. Today I'm going to bring more energy. I didn't have energy yesterday. This year will be better than next year. That increases your dopamine level, serotonin. It changes you, right? And so when your reticular activating system that lives in the bottom back of your brain, that's now like antennas going up based on the language you're saying. It doesn't know the difference. It's unconscious. And now you're going to start noticing things, people, solutions, resources that you won't believe because you're blocking yourself from what can come in. Okay. Okay, so we got to wake up that reticular activating back here, all the way back here. All the way back here. Wake it up. All right, with some good affirmations and things like that we can tell ourselves. When you think about positive thinking, it's not just positive thinking. It's the more you repeat it, the more you do. It's where you're spending your time. Okay, all right. Yes. What's another way that we can stop the spiraling, especially when those thoughts pop up? Absolutely. So when you interrupt it, it's what are you focusing your attention on? It's I almost have this metaphor of like a rescue inhaler, right? My son has asthma, so when you're having a bad thought, everybody has it. Doesn't matter who they are. Highest achievers have thoughts that don't serve them. The difference is you don't stay there. That's where it becomes crippling. Don't feel bad if you're having a belief that you're not good enough. Just don't stay there. What could you replace it with? And I talk about a whole chapter dedicated to this, is changing the channel. Imagine you're watching a show, Chelsea, that is making you feel anxious. Not this show. Not this show. Not this show. Definitely not this show. This is a show that you change it and you become alive. You start smiling. You feel good. That is literally how your brain works. Where you focus your attention. It's not that bad things aren't going to happen. Sometimes life happens. It's about taking control, changing the channel. And the sooner you do that, the more solutions will start appearing for yourself.
Ah, I love that visual. Change the channel. That is actually really helpful. So you have spotted the lie or really tried to refocus on the truth of the situation.
Right.
And you got to change that mind, switch to something else. Don't stay there.
Yes.
What's something else that we can do as well in these situations?
Absolutely. One of the things I do all the time, and I coach people to do this, is that the way you center yourself, and that's the best way when you're in a spiral, you take a moment to just breathe. I know you could be at a stoplight, Chelsea. You can be in between meetings. Just focus on just taking a deep breath. It actually calms your stress hormones, and it centers you. It brings you back, right? And I think the more you center yourself, the more you become aligned, having that alignment with what comes next for you, right?
It sounds so simple, but it is so effective as well. Because I think about in that same video, in the different situations, like we're not being present when we are with our kids thinking about work, or if we're at work thinking about, how we should show up better in our relationships.
Yes.
So just taking that breath can bring you back.
And even earlier when you mentioned, challenge the thought, is this a fact or is not? But let me tell you, if it is a fact, could it be different? No, everyone that did this had the same. Did anybody? 1%? Even when I got this, you know what my agent told me when I got picked up by a publisher, Wiley?
Yeah.
She said it only takes one acquisition editor to believe in your book. Just one. And I said, I'm not going to focus on all the hundreds that she's pitching it to. I'm going to focus on that one. And if there's a 5% chance, if it was 100, it doesn't matter. And I think anyone dealing with something hard that maybe is a fact that it is this is the cards I was given. But you can always choose gratitude. You can always choose a different thing that's going to make you feel good. And that's where you start seeing and uncovering more of what you were meant to become when you start thinking differently. It's not about doing more, it's about thinking differently to have more.
Oof, I love that. Girl, you have set us up for a fantastic 2026. Where can people find The More Mindset?
You can go to themoremindset.com and check it out there. That's also on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you buy your books. The More Mindset by Diana Pagano.
Well, thank you so much, Diana, for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with how you can get that time back and get your peace back, too. Be right back. I'll admit that sometimes I will start spiraling because I just have not done well with managing my time. So here to set me right in that area, we got Dr. Michelle Finnick. You are the author of the Time Alignment Method.
Yes.
So what is that exactly?
So the Time Alignment Method is a strategy of reclaiming your time.
Okay.
It's a way of changing your relationship with time. We all have, 24 hours allotted to us.
I wish it was 25.
Right. However, it's up to us how to budget that time. And so the Time Alignment Method allows you to do like a deep dive on what you are actually focused on. Are you addressing those things that are important to you? And then how do you get unstuck so that you can accomplish your goals with the time that you do have allotted to you?
Yes, okay. So you speaking my language right here. So what do you usually see with women who are feeling overwhelmed and then their timing is just all in a line, it's all over the place?
So a lot of women think that they're going to find the time when they talk to me. And so I'll do this little demonstration. And so I'll say, okay, let's see, is it here? Is it there? No, we're never going to find the time. So how do you create the time? How do you take the hours that you are awake and maximize every single moment so that you achieve your goals? And so I take them through a number of strategies. We look at your why, we look at your SMART goals. I explain that you are the CEO of your life. And I have you go through an actual budget. Just like you budget your finances, where is your time going? And so when I do a deep dive of that calendar, we can see if you are scheduling your priorities. And so that's a strategy.
Okay, because often the struggle is I would feel more fulfilled if I'm doing this, but I don't feel like I have the time.
Yes.
So what is a strategy that'll get us started on the right path?
One of my favorite things to do, Chelsea, is to have women say this simple little word: no.
No!
Yes, you were beautiful at it. But there are so many women, Chelsea, who just don't feel empowered to say no. And I explain it's just a little simple word.
Yeah, just 2 letters.
It's a complete sentence.
Yeah.
But when you say no to some things, it allows you to say yes to other things. And so there's some women who their default, if you approach them, sure, I can be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it. Yes, yes, yes. Overwhelmed, double booked, and feeling very much not empowered because they're taking on way too much. And so I just have women pause. When you get a request, don't just immediately say yes.
Yes.
Really count the cost.
I really just had to learn that, especially over the holiday season, because and this is straight from my therapist as well. It's like I've known that I can say no, but my default usually is yes, because to me, I do want to go to everything. Sounds like a great time. I'll be there, but then finding on the back end that it's just not possible.
Yes.
All right, what's another strategy?
So I'm going to turn it around and also the yes.
Okay.
What are we saying yes to? I give this example of I have some friends, and I call them my very she friends. And so I used to get a text, I used to get an invite, and someone would say, hey, are you open on the 23rd? Sure, I'm open on the 23rd. However, what's going on? Where is it? What's the attire? What's the cost? Is there a theme? Because if I say yes, I have to consider, what is the travel?
Yeah.
We live in Houston, and so that might mean 30 minutes, an hour and a half. There may be a valet. Is it an all-day event? So to really be thoughtful, again, that pause. So often we don't take the time to just stop for a moment before making decisions.
Right.
And so that leads me to another strategy, actually.
What's that?
And that is slow down.
Okay.
Just slow down. And I call it slow down to go fast. So often you have women who are on the phone, on the computer, watching the program.
Guilty.
And they send the email.
Oh, yeah.
And the email has all kinds of errors.
Oh, yes.
Because they were on the phone and they were watching the show. And now what has to happen? They have to spend all of this time cleaning up the error if they would just slow down.
Just like Diana was saying, take a breath.
Yes,
okay, just take a breath.
It's powerful.
All right.
Yes.
And so you won't create more work for yourself correcting what you weren't focused on the first time around.
Absolutely.
Got it. Okay, write that one down. Okay, what else do you have for us?
So another strategy that I have is the misnomer of multitasking. So if you look on the right side of this beautiful space that we're in, find something to look at and kind of fixate on it for about 2 seconds.
Okay.
Now look to your left and find something to fixate on for about 2 seconds. Now let's come back. Now on the count of 2, look at both of those things. 1, 2. You can't. You can't do them at the same time.
That's you can't.
And so when we multitask, we often find ourselves, again, with the errors, making mistakes, not being fully present, not being able to really execute with our maximum ability to get whatever the task is that we're seeking to get done. And so I really advise, really chunk up your time so that you can be focused, it can be impactful, and you can truly execute.
Now, once we get down to our priorities and, where we really want to be spending our time, but we also, many of us just feel like there are so many different things that are pulling us in different directions, like obligations.
Yes.
How do we actually, like you said, we'll find the time for these priorities, like realistically? Have your clients been able to find that time for themselves?
So it's a matter of that budget.
Okay.
And like you said, once we have gotten down to our real priorities, our why, because the why is kind of out there and it may be overused in some instances.
Yeah.
But our why is that thing that we have that emotional connection to that compels us to really identify what's important. And I actually have you take your calendar, and if I were to take my phone, I have wake up, prayer, meditation, journal, breakfast, laundry, write, make a call. I schedule
whole
it all
breakdown.
the way down, and it allows me to really investigate from time to time, where am I spending my time? Am I focused on those relationships that I need to nurture? And what activities am I doing that I can now outsource? So
okay.
am I trying to do my own editing when I could very easily find someone else on an app that I can bless as well to do it, save that time, and then put my energy elsewhere? And so I do a lot of, where can you cut? What can you outsource? There's so many just platforms that will do services for you if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a student. And so why not utilize the gifts of those individuals so that you can have other time on being creative,
Yes.
being a nurturer, and being healthy even.
Yeah, I love that you have it all broken down, because sometimes we do have to schedule even our relationship time. Like
Yes.
it's got to be on the schedule or it's not going to happen.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, these are some great tips to get us started. Where can people get into this workbook?
So this is on Amazon.
Okay.
Also my social media, I have links to it, so you can just directly click on my Instagram, which is Consult Dr. Michelle, and they can click on the link in the bio and purchase it.
All right. Thank you for getting us on the right track,
Thank you.
Doc. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. Thank you for watching this episode of Chattin' with Chelsea, and thank you to our lovely guests for getting our inner thoughts and our schedules in line. You guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chattin' with Chelsea. Keep up with us on social at Chelsea Show Fox. Wardrobe provided by Trezor Cachet Boutique, and we'll see you on the next Chattin' with Chelsea.